Hi, this is Introduction to Inequalities. And before we introduce inequalities, we need to compare them to equations. So here is one example of a simple equation, x equal 3. What situation can that represent? Here is example of that. There are 3 apples in a refrigerator. So x stands for what is the number of apples in a refrigerator, and then the number of apples is equal 3, tells us that there are 3 apples. As opposed to that, if I have inequality x is less than 3, this is red, number of apples is less than 3. That's example of a simple inequality. So there are less than 3 apples in a refrigerator in this case, and that would mean there could be 2 apples, 1 apple, 0 apples, and 3 is not possible because it has to be smaller than that. Now, we could also represent this graphically or visually. So how do we graph that? On a number line, we put some numbers, and 3 has to be there because 3 is that limit. I have less than 3, and I put few numbers smaller than 3, few numbers bigger than 3, and then look what I put. I put an open dot. Now this open dot is on 3 because 3 is my limit. I know I have less than that. And 3 is not possible. That's why I have this open dot. This is called open dot. And then what are the possible numbers? 2, 1, 0. So then we have arrow pointing to the numbers that are possible solution. And now we have visual representation of that inequality. Now, we might have some other situations there. So here are examples of all possible ways you can have inequality and how to graph it. So this one means is less than. We usually read from left to right. So whatever is here is less than whatever is there. Then we use open dot, which tells us that whatever limit is here is not a possible solution. And then everything shaded to the left or arrow to the left, pointing to the numbers that are possible solution. This is greater than, again, open dot, arrow to the right. This is another possibility. This is less than or equal to, half of equal sign, which means if we had less than or equal to 3 apples in a refrigerator, 3 would be also a possible number. We could have 3, 2, 1, or 0. And now notice the dot is closed. That graphically or visually shows me that the limit is possible solution. Everything shaded to the left or arrow pointing to the left. And then this is greater than or equal to, and closed dot, arrow, or shaded to the right. There are some vocabulary words associated with these, so just look at them. If I have less than, which is the first one, it can be is less than, it can be is fewer than, greater than, can be is more than also. This one here can also be is at most or is no more than. This one here can be also, besides being is greater than or equal to, can be as is at least or is no less. You can always go back to this one and, as a reference to check if you forget the wording. So here is example. The temperature outside can be at most -1. What that means is that the temperature can be lower than -1 or equal to it. Can be -2, -3, -15, -100, negative whatever. So how do we write it? We write it as temperature is less than or equal to -1. How do we graph it? We put number line with -2, some numbers bigger, some numbers smaller. Our limit is on -1, which would be closed dot because -1 is possible temperature, and then arrow or shaded to the left. And now another example. I have more than $2 in my pocket. I write number of dollars is greater than 2, and to graph it on a number line, I put open dot on 2 because I cannot have $2. I have more than that, and then I am shading or arrowing to the right all numbers bigger than 2 are to the right. Now keep in mind, in case of not money, it can be $2.05, $2.20, $2.50, $2.75. Any of those numbers can be possible solution. And the last example, the temperature outside can be at least -4, means that the temperature can be higher than -4 or equal to it. So you write inequality, temperature can be greater than or equal to -4. Graphing, again, I have number line with -4 there, some numbers smaller, some numbers bigger. Put close dot because -4 is possible temperature as well, and all numbers greater than -4 are solutions, so arrow goes to the right.